All right, let's turn this to full screen. Today we're going to talk about how to stay focused, and because I'm cheesy like this, I decided to go with the 4th of July theme. And so I'm tying this all into our business and the difference between what I consider fireworks and what I consider freedom. Because obviously the 4th of July is about freedom, but we celebrate with fireworks, and fireworks don't really serve a purpose. The point of calling it that is that I know that I tend to struggle with this, and so I'm assuming I'm not the only one. So go with me on the whole freedom versus fireworks thing, because I tend to shoot off like a firework. So I get on social media and I'm like, okay, I have focused time and I'm going to do, my 3 vital behaviors, and I just kind of like get on and go kind of all over the place. Nothing's really focused. I'm not really allowing myself to have more freedom in my life with my business and my family, because I will log off an hour later and be like, what did I really just do? Like, that was fun and cool and pretty and great, but I don't really know if I did anything that was business worthy, that's creating the freedom that I want for my life with this business. So the point of that is that social media can be a huge distraction, and it can be very overwhelming and overstimulating and kind of help make us lose sight of why we're actually there. And prior to Beachbody, social media is like what it is for everybody else. We don't really have a focus with it. It's more our way to unplug and to just like enjoy the show, so to speak. But when we run a business, we're trying to create freedom for ourselves. So we really want to hone in this focused time. So that's what this presentation is all about. And the first thing we're gonna figure out how to, there we go. First thing we're gonna start with are things to remember. So I always kind of like starting this way because I feel like sometimes quotes just kind of stick in our head a little bit more. So this week, our things to remember are that either the day runs you or you run the day. You have the choice. It's not about having the right amount of time. It's about making the right decisions with your time. Ordinary people think of spending time or money. I think this is great because a lot of people do think, how am I going to spend it? Like, you get paid and you go spend it, or you start your day and you're like, all right, we're going to have a day. But great people think of how to use their time or their money wisely. It's intentional. And I want us to make sure we're being intentional with how we're spending, especially our time, because we all have the same 24 hours in a day. And then the last one is don't mistake movement for achievement. It's easy to get faked out by being busy. The question is, busy doing what? So a lot of times we can get on social media and we can move and we can call it business, but are we actually achieving anything that gives us long-term reward in growing this business? Okay, so what are we busy doing? Oh yeah, I have to click. Okay, so is it fireworks? Okay, so this is where you're gonna start asking yourself, does this grow my business? Is what I'm doing right now actually growing my business? And this one tends to be a little bit of like because I'm very person-oriented. I don't really like to think about business. But if I get so distracted on loving on people, I can call anything business, but it's not actually producing results for the team or for our financial goals or for our family freedom that we're looking for or anything else. So when we're on there, we have to make sure we're being intentional about doing business-oriented growth that allows us to also connect with people and everything, but it's not distracted, just there for the show, kind of like, oh, okay, that was fun. Second question is, does this grow my team? The team of people that I want to work with, that I imagine being on my side as I grow this. Sometimes our intentionality is not going to be just inviting from a list for challenges. Sometimes it's intentionally going out and getting to know people for the fact that you really want to work with them. You want them on your team. The third one goes along with the first one, but does this add to our financial goals? And this one gets a little sticky for me because I'm not necessarily financially minded. However, I do have financial goals for this business because of the kind of person God made me to be. I talked about this a little last week. I want to have the freedom to be able to travel and be bigger than my situation, be able, like if there's a missions trip or something that somebody else wants to go do, or something that I feel driven by an organization, or even just being able to visit family that's really important to me because we have close connections. I want to be able to have the freedom to go do those things. That means I have to be financially reaching goals. Plus, I would really like to be able to be home with the kids more. And this started for me as little things, you know, just being able to pay for gas or an extra $100 to go out to dinner. And I had a conversation with Tigra actually today that sometimes those things seem a little selfish, but our financial goals are important to our family, and they're important in helping us to be able to go and thrive in the world. Because if we're always stressed out by these things we can't do and these ways we aren't meeting, then it's going to be really hard to give in other areas because we're so overwhelmed. So financial goals are important. And when we're thinking of the time we're giving to others, we do want to be asking, does this grow my business and does it help me reach my financial goals? Does it add to my business goals, the things that I'm trying to reach in my business, rank advancements or a Success Club 5 or Success Starter program or whatever, like whatever you have your business goals as. And it's taken me a really long time to set business goals because I don't like being business minded. But the more I realize this is a business that I'm investing in because it fits with who I am and what I love, and I get to make money at it, then I better make sure that just because of who I am and the fact that I love people doesn't get me distracted from the fact that I'm also running a business. Because I can easily waste time just enjoying the big sparkly show and not really producing anything beneficial. So, examples of fireworks, or what I would consider fireworks, shooting off in the middle of nowhere and not really knowing. Scrolling social media, watching pointless videos. You get on and you're like, oh, that looks cute, what's that? And we're intriguing, reading articles, starting conversations literally about nothing for no purpose to a person that has already told you no 5 times. Like, that's just don't. This is when I get stuck at downloading new apps and messing with them because I want to make sure that what I'm doing is eye-catching. And so I'll be 20 minutes later going, I haven't even posted this yet because I spent so much time trying to make it pretty. That's something I'm convicted in. So I'm not sharing, saying I've mastered all this. I'm sharing with you things that I'm also still learning because I struggle with the fireworks thing. Checking your newsfeed and notifications. You can go into your Facebook settings and you can say what you want to alert you and what you don't. You will still get notifications, but control what you get notified by, guys, because if I get on Facebook and I see 43 notifications, it stresses me out before I've even started working because I feel compelled to make sure I respond to that. But not everything is respond worthy. Whether or not something posted something on a buy and sell site has nothing to do with what I'm doing at all. There's no reason for that to stress me out, but just seeing a notification there will overwhelm me. So if you're kind of like that, make sure you turn off notifications and don't go through your news feed first. Set up we'll get into what you should do instead. Anyway, chatting just for the sake of chatting is another one. You know, like somebody starts messaging you and they're like, hey, did you see? Well, if it's business time, you don't need to talk about what they're seeing. You can get back to them later. Make sure that you're staying focused during your focus time and being productive. So remember that the reason I'm saying this is because this is about freedom. What I want for all of you guys is to have a successful business, to be able to spend more time with your family, to be able to do more with the goals that you have if you were to dream big for your family. So in saying these things, I'm not trying to be boring and be a drag and be like, you can't ever enjoy your Facebook. I'm trying to help create a freedom for you to have a business and reach other people, like to really make it about what it's about. Okay, so number 1 is setting your power hour. When you start your business, you can literally start it with an hour. You do not need more than that to run your day. You can always have more if you want to grow faster, but you don't need more than an hour. So setting your power hour doesn't have to look the same for everyone. It just has to matter that you're setting it and that you're sticking to it, because the more you're able to stick to what that time is going to be, the more consistent it's going to be in your day, and it's going to become mindless. So whether that's before your kids wake up or after your kids go to bed or while they're napping or whatever that looks like, set an hour for your day. That's step number 1. Write it down on your calendar. Know every day at this time, I'm going to be consistent with what I do. When you start your power hour, always start with prayer and reading your Bible and personal development. Start there, because God runs your business regardless of whether or not you believe in him. He runs your life. He's over everything. You want to be invested into what glorifies him, and you want to know him and be intimate with him. And then also you always want to be growing yourself. So personal development is key in this business, and it's going to help you when you jump into your hour of the day. So start with prayer, reading your Bible, and personal development. Then stick to a focus. Your focus does not have to be the same as this list. It can look like whatever you want it to look like. The one thing I will say is make inviting the first thing on your list and give a good amount of time to it. Because number one, you just finished prayer, reading your Bible, and personal development. So when you go into inviting, it's not going to seem so grueling. You're going to be in a good place. Okay, inviting is a hard thing to do because inviting is the one where we have to climb a mountain of insecurity and what other people might think, and stepping out of our own head and just doing it. So you need to start by inviting first. Get the worst part out of the way. What you will find when you go through the art of inviting is it gets easier, but you have to start. So start with the art of inviting, and then follow up on your social media messages next. Email, check in your Team Beachbody website. All those might be places where people are trying to get in touch with you. So always do inviting first, and then following up with people. So we'll get into stay focused. Squirrel? Squirrel? Okay, so invite first. Then the next, initiating new conversations from your list. So after you have invited people first, and then you've followed up with people you've already been talking to who might have written you back, then you start new conversations with people. So these are the new people on your list for the day that you need to start just forming, talking to, that you haven't kept in touch with for a while. Then you're going to work on your to-do list. So this is the things where you know you have a clean eating group coming up. You need to know, what am I doing for this clean eating group? How do I need to get organized so it doesn't sneak up on you and all of a sudden you're overwhelmed and your power hour is stuck with, oh my gosh, I got to get this group together. Your to-do list can include videos you want to make. It can include planning events. It can include, let's see, what else? Oh, social media topics, planning out what you want to talk about during the week so that you don't have to be thinking about it every time it comes up. Another really important thing I want on your to-do list is reevaluating your why and your goals. I really want you guys every day, even if you don't do it on a to-do list, but when you wake up in the morning or right when you're doing your power hour, I really want you thinking, why am I a Beachbody coach? Why am I in this business? Why did I choose this for myself? And if I were to not have any fears or insecurities, what would I want to come out of this? If I could just dream big, where would I see myself, and what would I be doing with where I see myself? How many people would I reach? What would that ripple effect look like? What would my family look like? I want you guys visualizing and evaluating your goals. The more you think about it and surround yourself with that culture, the more that is going to start to become a reality in your life. You're going to start to adapt into that naturally without even realizing it, because of how ingrained in your brain it is. It becomes something you live and move without even necessarily thinking about it, because you want it so bad. So be thinking during that time, evaluating your goals, your why, and what this looks like for you long term. So that's part, I would definitely put that as part of your to-do list every single day. So time-saving systems. In the John C. Maxwell calls that we're doing, we talk about the rule of 5. So this is a time-saving system to make sure that you are staying focused on the things that you need to do every day for your business. The first one is to grow. You want to invest in your spiritual, mental, and physical health. This is your workouts, your Shakeology, your unplugging with your family, your going to church, Bible studies, reading your Bible, things like that. You really need to be growing yourself. If you're not growing yourself and being intentional about that, you will burn out faster, okay? That's really important. You cannot sacrifice this business and go all in with this business and forget that you matter in that too, and that there are things that that are important for your ability to even like live and move and breathe. So be invested into those things and keep growing. Then connect. You want to be meeting new people and invest in deepening relationships with people and always be servant-hearted. So going out, meeting new people, not being afraid to talk to others, not being afraid to deepen your relationships. This is not some kind of con. This is literally you loving others the way that God's called us to love others without hindrance, without worry and fear and insecurity and wondering what they might think or if they might read things wrong or whatever. Just connect with people, get to know people, meet people, talk to people. And you can do that even as an introvert. You do not have to be an outgoing person to meet people. Not everybody wants the same kind of person. Following up. So this is a big one that I have struggled with lots of times. So again, I'm the pot calling the kettle black. Do not let people fall through the cracks. This is why it's important to have a system set up so you know who you're talking to and when you're talking to them. I will have periods of time where I'm like, I know I need to respond to that person and I haven't done it. That is mean. Do not let people fall through the cracks and always maintain a fresh perspective when you're talking to people. So even if somebody has been really kind of like mean or not super positive about what you're doing, when you go to write them or invite them or talk to them, do it with a fresh perspective. Don't do it with what they've already said to you in your head. Because we're always growing and changing, and we are being an example to them of the fact that we don't have to be stuck in yesterday. We can keep moving on and we can keep growing and developing. And so in doing that, you have to be always offering a fresh perspective and a forgiveness and a new mindset to people so that you're helping them to learn those same things. Then track, evaluate your day, record what you did, recognize what changes need to happen, and then don't be afraid to apply it. So this is another one. It's really important that when you go back through what you're doing and you see changes that need to happen, like people falling through the cracks for me, that I don't just say, oh, I really need to fix that. I actually go apply it, okay? So make sure that you're applying what you say that you want to do, what you want to change. Then plan, be intentional, get your family on board, draw boundaries, prioritize. So here's what really matters. When we are talking about how we're going to save time and we're talking about intentionality, your family needs to know what you plan to do. And the reason I'm saying this is because I struggle with time management and focus really bad. And so it drives Johnny crazy because I can be on my phone and be like, oh, 1 second, one more second. And he's like, I don't even, like, do you need an hour? Do you need like, I don't know, I'm just real quick. But it helps for me to say, you know what, you're really good at time management. I need your help with this. And so how can we do this together? Like, would it be better? He helps me to know, like, I need to set time aside. I can't just be doing these posts randomly. Invest your family's advice and opinion on how to make this business successful for you, because you don't want to just like bulldoze in the process of like, I'm doing nice things for people, and then the people that are right next to you are sacrificing because of it. So draw boundaries and prioritize, work together with your family, try to find a way to get them on the same page where they're supporting you and you are supporting them too and being respectful to them. Okay, so staying focused. This is where we turn off notifications, which I already told you. You can go into your settings and you can choose so many things about what you're notified about. I have actually even turned off notifications to the challenge groups that I'm in, because when I go in and I click notifications and I see 6 people posted in this challenge group, I'm already overwhelmed by the challenge group before I've even gone in. But I love checking in with the challenge groups. I love knowing what's going on. So I know I'm going to do it. I know I'm going to get in there. And I don't want to get in there with this attitude of like, oh my gosh, 16 people posted and I've got to go back through and know 1,600 things about 16, you know. I want to go in with a fresh perspective. So I turn off those notifications. I go in, I read during my time, my set aside time to check in with those groups. And I read and I really add value. And I'm not just like, I need to get in and see the 16 things and get out. I need to go in with a fresh perspective and be able to say, I'm going to add value to these people. I'm going to see what's going on. I'm going to see how I can challenge and change. Because guess what? It doesn't matter if you can post your food log every day. It doesn't matter if you can post a sweaty picture every day. What they want to see is that you're helping them through this journey. I cannot help them through that journey if I'm already stressed out by them before I've even logged in to see them. So turn off notifications where you can. And in saying that, if you turn off a notification, you better be sure to be intentional about making sure you're checking those groups you turn off notifications to. It better be that important to you, because if you end up missing stuff because you turn off notifications and you're not doing a power hour and staying focused, you're really setting yourself up to definitely feel that burnout, because you'll feel overwhelmed all the time trying to play catch up. The next thing is use a business activity tracker. So Beachbody has a business activity tracker. I actually have four different types of business activity trackers. But when I started this business, and even still, I'm not like a disciplined business activity tracker person, but business activity tracker helps you to know what you need to do every day, and you can make sure that you're doing it. There's a whole one that's called a goal rhythm registry that's actually in our files, and that one is a blank one. You can write in there what's most important to you and make sure that you're the one doing those things. Every day, you can check it off. Did I do this today? Or there's Beachbody's business activity tracker. I have always been kind of a problem with that because I don't want to feel like a failure. I don't want to say, oh, I didn't add 2 new people today. I must suck at my business. Well, that's really self-defeating and self-pitying, and I don't even want you guys to have the kind of mindset that says, oh, I'm not good enough. What I want you to do is say, hey, I didn't do that. I need to be accountable to that, and I need to figure out how to do that differently. Or I need to realize it's not important to me and my business is not going to grow, and I can't cry about that because I'm not doing the work. Okay, so that sounds pretty hardcore coming from somebody like me, because I am not like, I'm just a very soft person, and I'm like, oh, you're a rough day. Yeah, I know what that feels like. And it's true. It's true. We have rough days, but building a business and staying focused, that's what this is for. So take it for what it is. Don't feel bad if you can't do everything. Reevaluate, replan, and be okay with where you're at. Don't ever think I should be somewhere I'm not. Be where you are and be okay with where you are, and work to keep growing exactly where you are. Okay? So then follow a focused list and a focused way of attacking that list. That will look different for everybody. Jen uses a note card system. I tried a journaling system for a little bit where I was like writing everybody's names down, and then I would invite them, and then they would respond, and then I could either cross them off my list, or I would move them to the next month, or I'd move them 3 months from there. But that even was very distracting. And so the new thing that I do is I put 3 people on each day in my planner, because I have to follow a planner for work. And I will go through and I'll say, okay, those 3 people today will be invited to my challenge group. Every day, 3 people will be invited. I will send them a personalized message saying, I want you in my next group. Are you interested? Okay? And then whatever they respond, I will check those messages the next day. Those 3 people will be checked after the next 3 people are invited. You are invited to my challenge group. I would love to have you be a part of it. If you would like more information, get back to me or whatever. Next 3 people, I always invite first, and then I follow up with those other 3 if they've written back. And because I'm consistent, it doesn't build up to some big giant list or some overwhelming thing that I can't attack. My power hour stays very focused, okay? So figuring out a focused list and a way of attacking that list will look different for everyone, which is kind of frustrating because most people want, how do I do this? What matters is that you're inviting, not how many, not when, not what time of the day, not anything else, just every single day that you're finding people to invite. Or even some people will do a massive list 2 times a month. Send out 15 invites all in one day. For me, that gets overwhelming because then I got to respond the next day to 15 people, and that, it just depends on what works for you. There's not one way to do things. The most important thing is that you're keeping the first things first. You are following the 3 vital behaviors with Beachbody, because guess what? This business, it works. And this business works by you reaching out and showing other people you care about them. It has nothing to do with your insecurities and weaknesses and fears and stuff you suck at. Because guess what? I have all that stuff too. And I'm still what I would consider a successful Beachbody coach for what I want for my life, what I feel like I am investing into this, and where I feel like I'm at. I knew starting this business, I was not going to be 5-star elite in my first year as a coach, because I'm not a pusher. I am a processor. I to go through the steps. I want to process the whole thing and take it in. And then as I do, bring other people along, go through that process with them. It's slower for me. It's different for every person. But I feel like I know where I'm headed, and I feel successful in what I'm doing. So I can tell you, all you have to do is really love and care for other people. This business does work. It works if you are consistent with personal development, invite, and be a product of the product in a non-salesy way. Be genuinely you and stop trying to be like anybody else or be where anybody else is or worry about all the ways that you don't measure up. Do what you need to do to care and love other people and grow yourself. And this business, it will work for you. I mean, not in some cheesy way. It really, really works. So, oh my gosh. So that's what I have. Did I go through that whole thing? I did. That's funny. I didn't even remember that was the last slide because I actually like really practiced reading through this so that I didn't get all squirrel, and I did it anyways. But even me as a hot mess, I can make this business work. So you guys are in a good place. Now let me figure out how to stop screen share. Go back to this. And I want to hear kind of where that leaves you guys processing, because that is a lot of information. I talk really fast because I'm always afraid of running out of time. Rick, what's that? Oh, I thought she took herself off. Or Ashley.
Oh, sorry. Hold on.
Oh, no, you're just.
I
have a question.
Okay.
Google Docs account access. How do I get access to our Google Docs?
It doesn't. You don't have access to it?
No, not that I know of.
I thought I pushed share from our Google documents. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to Beachbody Team Connect, or is it Team? What is it, Jen? Beachbody Team Connect? So you're going to go to beachbodyteamconnect@gmail.com. And the password is just Team Connect, no capitals. And then when you go into that, you know how there's like the apps bar, you can go into Google Drive and everything's in there. Our team calls are saved onto a thing. I'll screen share it with you right now so you guys can see. If you want to look at our website, not our website. If you want to look at, let's see if this will work. Do you guys see my screen right now?
It's really little.
It is?
Nope. There it is.
You see it now? Okay, so. Loading my fitness account, sorry. I can't even see because you guys don't, okay. There it is. Okay, so it's Beachbody Team Connect at gmail.com. You're going to type in Team Connect. When you type in Team Connect, it'll take 4 hours to load. Right here, see these little dots? And then right here it says Drive. In our Google Drive, oh, come on. Well, that's how you do it. But in our Google Drive, there are so many resources for progressionals. There's so many resources for nutrition, so many resources for all of our, some old team calls are on there. Gosh, there's lots of stuff on there. So you guys can always feel free to go and look at that and check it all out. It won't let me do that because it's signing me into a different account because I have to log out of my original account in order to load that account. But that's how you do it. Where are you now? I have to find you guys. So that's how you log in. I also, just so you know, I put our team call from last week onto YouTube on our Beachbody Team Connect YouTube. And I'm going to do that just so that's another way to make it easier than like logging in and figuring things out. So if you go to YouTube and you type in Beachbody Team Connect, our team calls will also be on our YouTube. Okay. Ashley, did you have a question?
No, not a question. I just really, really needed this call. I've always struggled with staying focused. Like earlier in the call, you were saying just like you're on Facebook and you're scrolling, and I'm like, oh, it's been like I just feel like an hour. Like what was I looking at? I don't even know. Or like prioritizing my time in the challenge groups. Like I don't turn off those notifications, and so it like clogs up my feed. I'm like, wait, did I check this? Did I check that? Like I don't know. There's so many tips that I really need. I've been like juggling this other job that I'm like not passionate about. So it's just like, this is, I don't know. I really need to set my priorities for Beachbody and for my team and our team together. Like
And I think it's really important too, because as women, we tend to have like 1,600 things in our mind already. So we're already like hardwired to be like, so when we open up Facebook, if we don't have a way to be like zoned in, then we're thinking about like, oh yeah, I got to make dinner, and oh, I haven't done the laundry, and when is my husband going to get home, and you know, whatever. There's like already so much going on in our brain that if we don't know what we're doing when we sit down to do it, then we're overstimulated. We're sitting down to work, and we leave work being like, now I have twice as much to do because I didn't actually work, so I can't check that off my list. Plus, I still haven't done the laundry and getting myself ready for work and posting my sweaty picture and sharing on my social media. I've done nothing except overwhelm myself with all the things I should have done, So finding ways to stay focused is a life-saving technique, because this business doesn't burn you out as quick. I've had so many moments of burnout for that exact reason. And the only thing that changes that burnout is being able to say, I know what I need to do, and I want to do it because I'm in this for the right reasons, So making sure your reasons stay first, and that nobody else is running our time. Oh, that was like the cutest ever, Jen. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I want to kiss. Okay, so does anyone else have any other questions or anything they want to ask? Any other way that I may have overwhelmed you? Would it help you guys if I downloaded the PowerPoint to go back through and the team call, or just being able to scroll back through the team call is good enough?
I'd like to use the PowerPoint for future team training of my own coaches. So if you don't mind, I'd like to have a copy.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Yes, I'll put it in the files, so that we have the PowerPoint in the files. And from now on, because I share PowerPoint, it's telling me that it's too big of a file to be able to share on social media. So I will download it to YouTube and download it to our Google Drive at the end of the calls. It usually takes about 15 minutes, and then it will be posted. And then you can even share ones that you feel like, hey, this is what our team does. This is what we're about. You can take those links straight from YouTube and say, I want you to watch this webinar. I want to see if this sounds like something you would want to be a part of. And share what a team call is and what our team is about and what we do as Beachbody coaches, so that people understand this is not what most people think it is. It's not sales. It's not spammy, and it's not gross. It's legitimately trying to better our lives and help other people better theirs and feel more alive as they're doing it. So that's another thing that I think will make it easier for that shareable technique. So yeah, okay. That's what I have. I'll turn off the recording.